Are the Saints, the Jets, or the Browns the worst team in the league? We discuss. Welcome to the NFL Clickbait Daily Podcast. My name's Chase Aguirre. That's my co-host, Mike Urtaza. Mike, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. You know, one thing that I'm thinking about as we figure out what or who is the worst team in the NFL, it basically, to me, I think it falls down to three teams specifically:
Those
the
teams I just
Browns,
listed? Yeah.
the Jets, and the Saints.
Yeah.
And I think there's like different levels of terrible between those teams.
There's
And
a thing for each team that makes them the worst team, and we'll discuss those right now.
And one of the things as we go through is we have both created our own power rankings, and we came up with an average between the two. And basically, we have agreed that the Cleveland Browns and the Saints are equally terrible.
Yeah.
And I think I had the Jets as the worst team just because I'm not a believer in that new coaching staff. I'm not a believer in Justin Fields. They do have talent in Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. There's something there with Breece Hall, but I'm not sure if it's more than a rotational receiving back. I'm not a believer, but I think the notion that the Jets are going to somehow compete for the AFC East is insane to me. I don't believe it, and I think you shouldn't either. More than likely, there is a lot of talent in that defense. I'm not a believer in that team, and I think they're more likely going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, personally, I put the Jets at 32. Honestly, it was between them and the Browns for me, really. I think the Saints, the thing that I think saves the Saints is that they have a new head coach in Kellen Moore. I think Tyler Shuck isn't going to be as bad as people think, and they still do have Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave. So they do have some talent on the offensive side of the ball, and they still have Cam Jordan and some talent on the defensive side of the ball. But that's the same thing with the Jets. But the thing that gets me with the Jets is I just don't think that team is going in the right direction at all. I don't think that offense is as talented as they have Breece Hall. They got Garrett Wilson. Braylon Allen's a nice coming up running back. I just don't believe in Justin Fields. I think I believe in Tyler Shuck more than I believe in Justin Fields. What's that tell you?
I don't know about that. I'm not a believer in this.
That's just my opinion. That's just
rookie quarterback that they have. But moving from the Saints, the Browns are equally as bad as the other ones. And
yeah,
on their end, they have pieces on defense. They have Myles Garrett. They have Ward at corner, and then just like a bunch of guys on defense. I know they took what's his name in the draft. I can't think of his name. Is the defensive tackle out of Michigan?
Yeah.
Do you know his name? Cannot remember it.
But sorry, one more time. Repeat.
The defensive tackle out of Michigan that they drafted in the first round. The
Grant, right?
No,
Grant?
the other one. Mason Graham. There you go.
Mason Graham. There you go. I had the G. Right.
Sorry, guys. It's Friday.
You're good. It's Friday.
We should get some brewskis and have a drink while we talk. But
yeah.
So regarding the Browns, there's a lot going on in that offense. Like the defense might be decent. There's pieces, but that offense is questionable. We have Shedeur Sanders. We have Gabriel. We have Joe Flacco, and then we have Tiny Hands. What's the fourth quarterback name?
I don't know, but they signed Snoop Huntley. I don't think that's the one you're talking about.
There you go, man.
Oh, is that it? Is that Tiny Hands? No, it's not.
No, it's the Steelers quarterback that they drafted in the first round a few years ago.
Oh, Kenny Pickett.
Traded him to the
Kenny
Pickett. There we go. Kenny Pickett, Tiny Hands. They have a bunch of guys who are just a bunch of potential duds. More than likely, they're gonna tank for one of the quarterbacks next year that is not named Manning because he's not going to be coming out in the draft. Yeah. But there's a lot of options. It's supposed to be a heavier quarterback draft next year, and it kind of makes sense to wait for that and to just throw a bunch of darts and see what happens this year with what they're coming up with. But just kind of rolling back to our power rankings, we have right now the power rankings have the Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Commanders as the top 5 teams. And of course, the bottom 5 in theory, could be one of the worst teams. We got New York Giants, who have actually some pieces on offense with Neighbors. They have Dart that they drafted in the first this year. There's some pieces there on offense. They have some pieces at the offensive line, and then of course they have a lot of defensive talent all over that group. So it wouldn't shock me if the Giants are like the 10th worst team. Sorry, the 10th worst team. They might climb and then they'll have to clean house, because I don't think without a playoff run that team is gonna make keep their head coach and keep their GM.
To your point, of all the teams that we listed, I think at the bottom 5, I think the Giants do have the best chance. Maybe the Titans right ahead of them of being a team that maybe is closer to the top 15, top 20 by the end of the year. Because I see the Titans' vision. I see, how they attack free agency. I see how they've drafted Cam Ward, number 1 pick. I think he's going to be really good. I'm really high on him this year, just in general, not including fantasy, but I am high on him in fantasy too. And then the Giants have a lot of talent on the defensive line. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. I know that defensive line gives us problems every freaking year, regardless of how much we beat on them every freaking year. That defensive line always gives us issues. So all they really need to come together is some offensive talent and some secondary. And once they get that, they might actually be a top 15 team in the league. The Giants do have a shot.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of when you were talking about the Tennessee Titans, the AFC is it South?
Yes.
In that with the Jaguars, the Colts.
Yeah. Yes.
There is opportunity for the Tennessee Titans to actually surprise teams and make the playoffs as one of the worst playoff teams, but they would, they have a new quarterback. There is some offensive weapons there with Pollard, with what's the receiver?
They
Calvin
got
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, and then they
Alec
Aomanor. God, that name's hard to pronounce.
Yeah,
but I like him. And then
it wouldn't shock me if that team is actually low key one of the top 10 teams that are one of the better teams in the league. Surprisingly,
they're more on the higher end, closer to 20 than they are to 32 by the end of the year. Is what you mean? I get you.
Yeah, I think when you have a quarterback in Cam Ward who can potentially be the offensive rookie of the year, can potentially put that team in a completely new direction. I mean, if we think about the last offensive rookie of the year for the Tennessee Titans, is it Chris Johnson or is it Vince Young? I think it's Vince Young.
Vince Young, I think. I think Chris Johnson just won Offensive Player of the Year. He never won Rookie of the Year, I don't think.
Okay, so with Vince Young, that team, once he was able to become the starting quarterback, because I think it was Collins who was the quarterback at the time before
Gary Collins, yes.
Before Vince Young, he took over. He had the USC offensive coordinator as his OC with the Titans. If you remember, it was the USC versus Texas in the national championship when Vince Young went insane.
Insane.
Oh, my Alexa went off, but he went absolutely insane, and it kind of catapulted him into that conversation to be taken as the top player. Actually, wasn't that Mario Williams' draft? Mario Williams went number 1 overall to the Texans.
Yes.
And then the Tennessee Titans took Vince Young, and then Reggie Bush went to the Saints.
Yeah,
in a big trade up, if I remember. Yeah. That was a weird. And I know we can go off topic here, but I am one of the biggest Reggie Bush fans in college football since when he was rampant, and he was one of the most special players ever. I think if he was in the NFL right now, he would be one of the better players. We'd be talking to him similar to how we discussed Christian McCaffrey. It's more of like how you use him. Those elements when he came into the league wasn't there yet, especially in the passing game. He did go to a very in a good system with Sean Payton, but I just think how it advanced with the college elements, he would have excelled at this time. But moving back to our conversation with one of the worst teams, I just want to go on a rant about the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
I don't know how Chris Ballard still has a job. He has put together one of the worst rosters in football. He is supposed to be the so-called talent evaluator gurus, and he has not put together. He has some pieces, right? But like he's gone through now, I want to say 3 head coaches. How does this guy stay in power? Like, I know they just lost their owner and the daughters are now running the team. So more than likely, maybe after this year, if this team can't get that offense going, if Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy, that team's gonna have to clear house, like from top to bottom. So I think it's just wild to me how this guy continues to get a job and continue to keep it and roll through. And is it Steichen is their head coach?
Yeah,
for the
Shane
Colts?
Steichen. Yes.
You know, I was extremely high on him when he was hired. I thought he was going to come in, especially when they took Anthony Richardson. I thought he was going to come in and get this team rolling right from the start. I thought he was one of the bigger reasons as to why the Eagles had gone to the Super Bowl a few years back, even though they lost. So to me, that's one to keep an eye on. Because the Colts are like must win. They're in a must win situation. Like they may fire the entire staff by midseason.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Colts are in a really bad spot. I think the Jags have a little bit more going for them in that division. The Texans, obviously, they got Stroud, Collins. They got a nice core, so they should continue to go up. But, yeah, the Colts look like they're going to be probably the worst team in that division, especially if the Titans take that next step this year with Cam Ward. I think the Colts are looking at being the worst team in that division for the next few years if they don't get it together.
I wouldn't be shocked if they are actually in that spot at the number 1 pick in the draft. They're that bad. Like I don't know if they're.
I don't disagree.
Like I don't know if you saw them in preseason. I know it's preseason, but they had played their starters. They look terrible.
Oh yeah, that first game where Anthony Richardson got decked. Yeah, they looked awful.
Pinky.
Yeah, and it's Pinky. Yeah, I was doing the gang sign, little thing, doing this thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah. So for you, who could be one of the teams? Let me just put it back up here so we can. So one of the teams in the top 15 because every year there's that one surprise team that you're expecting to make a run, but you know they shot back and ended up being one of the worst teams in the league.
Okay.
To me, just like sorry, I have my camera here. I can't see exactly, but we have the Lions. I think 6th as the 6th best team.
I had them.
I'm not saying they're going to be the.
Or something.
I don't think that they're going to be the worst team, but I think there's a high chance that they go 6 wins this year. Like there's going to be some struggles, especially early on this season when their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator kind of have to figure out things. If they get a major injury here and there, which they did on defense last year, and that kind of completely took their playoff hopes out of
their playoff run
opportunity. Yeah, I think there's a big chance that the Lions are drafting in the top 10, and we're like kind of putting their head coach on the hot seat for the following year.
That's a fair point. I won't say that they're going to be top 10. They have a chance to be one of the top 10 worst teams, but I've been saying from the get-go this year that I think the Commanders are going to take a step back. I think they had a great year in year 1 with Jaden Daniels, and that's great. But we've also seen Robert Griffin have a great first year. They won the division, and then he got hurt. And we forget what Jaden Daniels was in college. He got hurt a lot. If Jaden Daniels can stay healthy, the Commanders are going to be really good for a long time. They got Adam Peters. That front office is great. But if Jaden Daniels can't stay healthy, it won't matter much. And I'm not saying he will. I'm not wishing injury luck on anyone. I'm just saying the past has shown us with quarterbacks like that, especially one that Washington drafted not too long ago in Robert Griffin, that it's very possible that they could end up right back in the situation where they're trying to find the next guy.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't shock me. There's a lot going on because of Terry McLaurin, holding in. They made a move for Deebo Samuel. Is Deebo Samuel the guy that you want to rely on as your wide receiver 1, especially if Terry McLaurin starts off slow? Like, let's just say that they end up figuring that out, right?
They got a lot of names.
He ends up getting an extension right before week 1 starts, but he's not going to start off being Terry McLaurin as the guy that you saw last year. I think he'll come in being rusty and maybe on a snap count, and then they're going to have to rely on their wide receiver depth. Can Debo be the guy that takes that,
Can I say
opportunity to
one thing real quick?
go for it
and cut you off? We saw it with CeeDee Lamb during his hold-in before him and Dak were holding out the same offseason, and they finally got a contract done towards the end of training camp, or basically week 1. CD didn't play at all in the preseason, didn't get all training camp, and then what happened? He got hurt. So that's another thing that could happen. Terry McLaurin, maybe Rusty.
Nick Bosa,
Rusty might be the best. Rusty might be the best thing for them because he could very well be injured early in the year with no training camp. So you got that going for you. And then I already told you about Jaden Daniels and his injury proneness in college. I mean, Dan Quinn, we've seen how he can be as a head coach. He's great for a couple years and then he teeters off. So we'll see. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm trying to keep it realistic here, but there is some questions around that team and how sustainable what they did in year 1 is. There really is.
Speaking about, and I think this is a good rant to go on with the Cowboys. Like, what's the worst case scenario here? Like, they get a new head coach, right? He comes in. He's going to want to be different from Mike McCarthy, right? He's trying to implement his own style, his own culture. He's trying to be hard-nosed. That's kind of the old school mentality. What if it doesn't work? Like, what's the worst case? Are the Cowboys
it's very possible?
Like Micah Parsons holding out. There's, Dak Prescott. Maybe he's not the same quarterback that he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with the Cowboys this season. Brian Schottenheimer could not work out as a head coach. Dak Prescott could continue to be injury prone, or to be more injury prone than he's shown the last couple of years, and not stay healthy. Even though most years after an injury, he comes back and he balls out. But we'll see. George Pickens could not work out. Micah Parsons not getting on the field yet. I don't think he'll get traded, but could end up holding out some games, and that could be automatic losses and send this team going down the way. There's a lot of ways that this can go terrible right now. But I mean, for me, the thing that keeps me up at night is Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones still run that show. So to me, as long as they're running the Cowboys, the on-field product is what the on-field product is. Until anything changes up top, it's all going to be the same old.
Yeah, and I guess the question, like, what's the floor for the Cowboys? Like,
I think we have
5 wins.
Right.
I just don't think.
I think in the power rankings we have about 15, 16, about right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, but like that's 8-8. Like, I think 8-8 is a reasonable place for them to be because there's talent on that team.
8-9.
Yeah, whatever.
9-8. Mm-hmm.
9-8, whatever you want to say, close to 500. That's probably the team that we're gonna see this year, because it hasn't. The training, what's happening right now is not a really great, conducive place to make a run, but it is early. Like, Micah can show up. He could be the guy that we saw last year and the years prior before he got injured. Like, it's possible that what we're expecting on offense could be a powerhouse. Like, the offense could be rolling. There's offensive weapons at receiver, at tight end. There's a big question mark at that running back spot, but like, there's opportunity for somebody like Blue to come in and take the starting job from day one and be the offensive rookie of the year, be a big surprise. And the Cowboys could be easily the NFC the NFC East is it
East winner. Yeah.
East winner.
And that's the thing about the division. And again, at some point a team's going to repeat. I can't remember the last team that repeated. It might've been the Eagles, but I can't remember the last team to win back-to-back division titles. But for the most part, since I think about 2016, 2017, it's gone back and forth. And whoever finishes first always finishes second or third the next year. Again, I think that the Commanders should be the team that wins it this year. That would be my guess as of right now, just because I think they have it on paper. But I'm not going to count out the Giants or the Cowboys this year. I'm not. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. The Eagles lost a lot of talent. They're still a really damn good team, and they're probably I think we had them as top 3, top 4 team in our power rankings. But Saquon Barkley's on the offense. Saquon Barkley gets hurt. Can we real quick? Can we establish
Yeah,
if
go for it.
Saquon Barkley gets hurt, that team goes back to where they were pre Saquon Barkley, which was about 10, 11 wins and not a Super Bowl
That's a
contending team.
playoff spot, my guy.
I mean, that's what they were the year before Saquon. That's why they went and got Saquon Barkley, because they needed him to vault themselves up to the top. And without Saquon, they didn't get it done.
And I think this is a good opportunity for us to flip the script. Like, talk about that. Who's the best team in the NFL?
Okay.
Kind of just looking at our power rankings, we had the Buffalo Bills as the best team in the NFL, with the Ravens, the Eagles coming in third, Kansas City as the fourth team, and then the Commanders at the fifth team, the fifth best team in the NFL. And I think it's hard to kind of figure out exactly what's going to happen in the NFC. I think we can kind of put together that the AFC has better teams, and I think we saw that, weirdly enough, as like the playoffs last year. I don't know that the best team in the AFC was the Chiefs, but the Bills, to me, have continued to be the best team, and Josh Allen is rightfully so. Maybe he shouldn't have won MVP last year, because you can statistically look at Lamar Jackson and see his running efficiency and Josh Allen has that as well. But I think there's just another level with Lamar, and I think Lamar's best year as a quarterback was last year and not the 2023 MVP campaign.
You want to know what's crazy is that Lamar won MVP the year Dak should have won it. So I don't feel bad for Lamar. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into a soapbox.
I think Christian McCaffrey should have won the MVP.
Okay, well, running backs will never win MVP. We know this, Mike. So let's.
Adrian Peterson won the MVP, didn't he?
But that's fine. But regardless, Lamar shouldn't have won it the year he won it, and he should have won it that year.
No quarterback should have. It was just a down year for quarterbacks.
All things even out as they should. But Lamar is still a really good quarterback. I'm not shitting on Lamar. I'm not crapping on Lamar.
Oh yeah.
I think I still would have voted for Josh Allen, but I mean, you could have made the argument for either of them.
But going back, Josh Allen was one of the best quarterbacks there. Like, nothing. That's why he was in that conversation, and he was put as the MVP winner. Maybe just because, giving Lamar Jackson a third MVP would have put him maybe he's a lock as a Hall of Famer already. But like, he would be tied with the most MVPs won ever. And so it makes sense to give it to somebody. You don't want to give it to Lamar here. He had just won it, and he had won it previously. So
call it the LeBron James effect. You can't give LeBron MVP every year, but at some point you want to give it to someone else. That's fair.
But speaking about the Buffalo Bills, I just think they're about to take a shot that we have not seen with them. I think they are more than likely by far the best team in the league. Not even in my opinion. I think they're going to potentially go, it wouldn't shock me if they lose a game or two this season.
Now, can I caveat that with one thing? Who the hell is catching balls for them? They don't have a solid number. They have a lot of guys. Don't get me wrong. They have Shakir. They got Keon Coleman. They got Kincaid. They have James Cook, who now is back in the fold. But who the hell is their number one receiver? They don't have one, which is why
I just don't think it matters in that offense.
And that's fine. But then that's why Josh Allen was the MVP last year, because look at all what he did. And Lamar had Derrick Henry.
You're right.
He had Mark I mean, that's what I'm saying. If MVP is doing the most without the most help, then that makes sense. But anyway, I agree.
Like Josh Allen's whole career, it has been entirely on him. That offense has won games, has fallen on their faces because of Josh Allen, and that's going to continue. We're about to see this defense take another step. We're about to see a bunch of young guys on that team take another step. They finally figured out the issue with Cook. They paid him. I think they have one of the better offensive lines. They don't have the best offensive line,
but I saw some
argument. Yeah, whatever. They have an offensive line, and maybe Josh Allen makes them look better because of his running ability. Whatever.
That's fair.
But I would be shocked if the Bills, unless Josh Allen somehow is hurt, misses most of the season, I think they're easily, with injury to only Josh Allen. I don't care about anyone else on that team. Rest of the team could get hurt. And that you can't really say that about most teams. Like maybe the Chiefs are one of the other teams that you can say, or maybe the Ravens. Like Lamar, those are 3 guys that you can say if anyone else on that team gets hurt, they're going to miss the playoffs. But if the quarterback is healthy, they're making the playoffs. That's all that matters. That's to me the definition of an elite quarterback is that if you take everything off the field, he's going to somehow get there.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I
like that.
I think on your end, and I think this is a good discussion point that we need to have with Lamar Jackson. He is the Peyton Manning of modern day quarterbacks. And what I don't mean is that they don't match stylistically. It's more so he wins and produces in the season. And when he hits the playoffs, he shrinks and disappears. And in the worst moments, they win a game or two, but they don't go far. Right.
Yeah. 100%.
At what point can we say, what's the issue there? Like, do you have to get rid of John Harbaugh and move on and find a head coach? Like, who's at fault? Because this is the year for the Ravens to make a run. They have to do it. This is probably easily the second or third best team in the league.
No, and I have them as my number 1 team. And the same thing I said about Lamar and how I not poo-pooed on him, but like how I said, this and that. I don't want to compare him to Dak. I don't want to make this a Dak conversation. Okay, I really don't. But Dak does a lot of the same things Lamar, not running, whatever, but he does a lot of the same things. He produces a lot in the regular season. Anytime Dak is healthy, the Cowboys are in the playoffs, damn near every season. But when it gets to the playoffs, we know what happens. But I don't know if Lamar gets the same flack that Dak gets, but it's starting to get there a little bit. But it seems like every year it's like, oh, we'll just replace the coach, or oh, blame this guy. But Lamar never gets the blame, but Dak's the first one to get blamed. That's kind of annoying, but that's beside the point. The point is, this is the year. This is the year that the Ravens, they got Derrick Henry now. You've locked in a couple other free agents that they signed this offseason. They're basically all in. It's them, the Bills, and the Chiefs, in my opinion, is the top 3 teams in the AFC. So, I had the Ravens 1. I think I had the Bills 2, and I think I had the Chiefs 3 in that order. So we'll see how it plays out.
Love to fade the Chiefs, and I think we're going to see it here. It could be this year. It could be next year. I think there's going to be a point where the Chiefs are going to have to, more than likely, going to be I don't know if it's more Mahomes injury.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like there's going to be a point they're going to miss the playoffs. I'm not saying it's this year.
Oh, for sure.
But that team is aging. Their defense has been the reason why they're even in position to be in the playoffs the past few seasons. It's only really the only reason they've won Super Bowls the past few years. You could say early on that offense was one of the key reasons, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. But once they moved away from Tyreek Hill and they had to rely on that defense to win, that's when we saw a different team. This is not the early Mahomes that we've seen to, where he kind of makes these insane deep throws and it's not. He's really gone into, and maybe it's not a negative thing. He's just adapted to how defenses have covered him.
Right.
He's turned into a screen, like a screen small passing quarterback. Like that's what he is. And maybe he doesn't have the weapons. They did draft Xavier Worthy. He's supposed to come in and help make that deep throw, but we just have not seen it. And are we going to see it? Is this how Mahomes going to operate from now on as he enters the aging of a quarterback? And quarterback, he's probably going to be a guy who's going to be able to play till 40. So we might see him for another 10 years. But, what is an old Mahomes look like? That's the question that I want to see.
Yeah, it's a question is, does an old Mahomes look like who's a really, really good quarterback that didn't
Russell
age
Wilson?
Well? Does he look more like Russell Wilson, or does he look more like John Elway? Or
Tom
maybe not
Brady?
John Elway, but Tom
that's
Brady.
The big one.
There you go. That's probably, Tom Brady or Russell Wilson. Like which arc is he going towards? Or actually, you know what? Here's a better one. Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Which one is he?
Yeah, I don't know
more
about that one because Aaron Rodgers was pretty good up until like age 35, 36.
But I'm saying at some point that it might get to that point. You know
It
what I mean? Like
changed,
if
yeah.
he
Well,
keeps going. But a
and
younger
it could be.
Russell Wilson struggled at a younger age, so I get what you're saying there.
And I think the biggest issue is that the Chiefs are not in position to go out and pay a big price wide receiver. And that may be what they need. Like they need to go out there, and Amari Cooper is a free agent. I don't know if he's the guy that he used to be when he was with the Browns, the Cowboys or the Raiders, but what is his cost at this point? Like $5 million, $7 million? Like go.
Yeah.
Maybe go get him. I know Rashad Rice is going to be suspended for up to 6 games, and it sounds like it's going to happen at some point. After week 4. So, which is probably the worst time to lose him. I'd rather lose him right off the bat, but
they better win those games that they have him, because boy, it will get ugly if they're 2-2 or 1-3 and they don't have him.
He could get hurt early in the season.
Get hurt too, and then he's still going to get suspended next year because he's not going to be able to serve that suspension while hurt.
If he gets suspended, and he's hurt, it doesn't matter. He'll still be. No, he'll be suspended.
Well, I mean, he'll be suspended, but he's got to serve something when he's healthy, because that wouldn't make sense. But maybe the Chiefs should be in on Tyreek Hill. Maybe they should try to bring Tyreek Hill back.
I don't know about that. I think
imagine how funny that'd be.
I mean, that's a situation that they need to be in. They have built a monster on defense, and that's okay because it put them in position year in and year out. But what if that defense is not the same this year? What if they need that offense?
Has never matched the defense and vice versa.
What if that offense needs to win games for them?
Yeah.
Like, it's possible. We see it year in and year out that top-end defenses are not the same year to year. It's really hard to keep up that level of defensive play every single year. They've been easily one of the top defenses for like 5 years.
We saw it in the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense wasn't great, and their offense never recovered. Their offense wasn't able to keep up. Their defense was the reason they got to the Super Bowl last year, and once their defense started to come apart, their offense couldn't keep up. So, I mean, I think they got to find something. I'm not saying that bringing Tyreek Hill back would be a good thing. It's just an option, especially if he's on the trade block. But, I don't know how their relationship is. But they got to find an elite weapon, because if they don't have Rashee Rice for the first 6 games, or they're not going to have him for most of this year. They may have him for 4 or 5 games this year. Well, they're going to lose him probably. That's like week 14, realistically, if he gets suspended after week 4. So you're going to have him for 4 weeks and then 2 or 3 weeks at the end of the year. And if they're out of the playoffs by then, or they're really not contending, like, it ain't going to matter. But at the end of the day, I think even if Rashee Rice is healthy going into next year after his suspension and all that, I still think Rashee Rice isn't that receiver that's going to do it for them. I think he's really good, but I think they really need they need Xavier Worthy to be that Tyreek Hill. I think that's really what they need, and we'll see if he can be.
And on your point on Tyreek Hill, I ran a poll earlier this week. And I know we had a video about it regarding if the Dolphins will trade Tyreek Hill, and we put it out to you, the viewer, and we had 261 votes, and 82% agree that the relationship is done and that Tyreek Hill is going to be traded. So I don't know what to take from that perspective, but I think it's interesting to see, because I think the Dolphins are going to, they're in also a must-win situation for that head coach in Mike McDaniels, and I do not believe they're going to make the playoffs. I think more than likely he's going to get axed. He's going to end up probably as an OC somewhere for a year. I think the guy is a genius. I think he's just, when you get too high and mighty in yourself, and then like he all of a sudden went from this nerdy looking guy to this Miami Vice looking character. And I think that was a little weird, but I think he has another head coaching opportunity in this league. And then I just, when you get stuck to Tua and he cannot stay healthy, I mean, what do you expect? Tua's a top 15 quarterback at best.
Yeah. When he's healthy. Yeah.
When he's healthy.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel's going to end up being the Niners OC after this season, isn't he?
No, I don't think so. And I had this conversation with somebody. I think he's going to look for an opportunity to call plays. If he comes to the 49ers, he won't be calling plays. So
That's
more
fair.
than likely, maybe he ends up with maybe Robert Saleh gets hired as somebody's head coach and he brings in Mike McDaniel as his
year,
OC. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be somebody as a a defensive minded head coach. The Commanders actually are an interesting spot because Cliff Kingsbury, if that team is winning, he's going to get another head coaching opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would love to work with Jaden Daniels if I was Mike McDaniels. That would easily be one of the better quarterbacks that he could pair up with. And Debo's already there, even though he's a free agent coming up this year. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That'll be a conversation we have during the season.
You do have Adam Peters there. Do you have the front office
and Adam Peters? Yeah, there's a lot of connections. So makes a lot of sense.
It's 49ers East over there. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I do love me some Adam Peters. I think the guy is gonna get that team to a NFC championship.
If he doesn't, it won't be his fault. I'll tell you that. I agree with you there.
So here's another topic that I kind of want to cross. I know we're at 36 minutes, but going back to what is a team in the middle that should be, or we might be convenient? Might surprise and be the best team out here. And I don't necessarily mean so like, one of the teams that like we will see down the line. Maybe they're good once they hit the playoffs, but I mean, like, there's always a team who ends up undefeated for a few weeks, ends up winning the number 1 seed that we were unexpectedly, like, it was very unexpected. And to me, I think it's the Houston Texans. I think the Texans are, they fired their OC. They got a Rams guy, Sean McVay guy. And I think it wouldn't shock me if the CJ Stroud jump happens in year 3 that we expected that would happen in year 2. And I'm all in on CJ Stroud. I think the guy's going to end up still being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think it was very difficult with how that offense, and it's more so like the entire Kyle Shanahan scheme has kind of got erased last year. Like, defenses were very much keen on how to stop it, and it made it very difficult for all those teams offensively to get anything going. So as things are adapting, I think those teams are potentially gonna be fine this year. I think you over time, if you're a Kyle Shanahan in that mentor program, I think you end up figuring it out. How defenses catch up so quickly. I think the same happens offensively. You figure it out over a year or two. And I think with the Texans, it wouldn't shock me if they're easily the number 1 seed in the AFC. So,
okay. So before I go to mine, I kind of want to agree with your point. I think that they made a very good argument. I love CJ Stroud. I think Nico Collins is great. I think that offense is going to do way better this year. Offensive line will be a little more patched up. They moved on from Tunsil, so we'll see how that works for them. Defense has got a lot of pieces, so I think they're in a solid spot. And that division's weak, so they got 5 or 6 games that might start them up right off the bat anyway. So they'll be in good shape. For me, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I think Bo Nix is going to take the next step. I'm not saying they can go undefeated. I think going undefeated is tough, but win 13 games, 14 games, maybe 15 at the peak, but like 13, 14 games, I think the Broncos can do it. We talked about how the Chiefs, what are they? Are they aging? Is their time done? The Raiders, they're trying with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. We'll see if it works out for them. I don't think it will. The Chargers, I think, are the best team other than the Broncos in that division. I think they got they got Marion Hampton now. They got Jim Harbaugh. They brought back, can't remember what's his name on defense. And they're looking really good. But I think the Broncos are legit. Bo Nix is the truth. With Cortland Sutton, they drafted RJ Harvey. They got some young running backs in there now.
Good too.
They loaded up on defense. They freaking spent a ton of money on that defense. That defense could end up being the best in the league. And if that defense is the best in the league or top 3, and that offense takes a step with Bo Nix this year in year 2, Broncos could be solid this year, man.
And just to put it in perspective there, so the Broncos, they had a joint practice with the 49ers last week, not this week, but prior to week 1. and their defense is legit. And this is without Greenlaw because he's injured. A lot of their key pieces on defense, but they pretty much made the 49ers offense struggle. My only question is the same question that a lot of year 2 quarterbacks have. Like once defenses kind of figure you out, how are you adapting to what the defense are coming? Like the Bronco, there's going to be a full year of film now out on Bo Nix, and I'm not saying this because Bo Nix, I think, had one of the most passing yards down the field, but he is somewhat a screen merchant. Like the screen game, and that's why he is so valuable in the Sean Payton offense, because that's what Sean Payton does best is the screen game, especially out of the backfield. If you can get a running back who is elusive and can in space make RG a big Harvey. Yeah, there you go. Which is RG Harvey. So if defenses are not able to stop that, Bo Nix should be fine. Like he in theory, I'm not saying the guy's going to be the MVP, but he should at least be a top 10 quarterback, an offense that is electric, and the defense who's going to put that offense in great situations. I think that's a team that you have picked out that is low key, probably should be talked about more than where they're ranked. Where are they ranked right now?
I think we ranked them about middle of the pack, about 13th, 14th. Yeah, about 13th or so.
Yeah, right behind the Rams.
Yeah, I think they could leap into that top 8, 10 teams this year for sure. I think they could be right around where the Chargers are, or where we had the Rams. Low key,
they should probably be better than the Rams. Like, I don't even know what to think. Like, it's hard to rank them.
I agree. Yeah,
if Stafford's out, and Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy that they have to rely on,
I think they're behind 16, 17, 18, maybe even a little bit lower than that. It all depends on how that defense is. If that defense is really good, they could still be in the middle of the pack.
And that's a conversation
in that top 5, top 10.
Your dad is a Rams fan. What is his perspective right now on like, is he freaking out or?
I got to talk to him a little bit this weekend. We had my grandma's service this week, so I didn't really get to talk much sports. I mean, we talked a little bit of fantasy, but nothing crazy. Didn't really get to talk to him about that. But from the last I kind of talked to him a few weeks ago, he wasn't too concerned, but this was obviously before all the recent news and stuff, so I'm not sure how he's feeling now. But next time I talk to him and we bring this up again, I'll have to let you know.
You got to get a reaction video. Can you get it for a short? So if you're watching this and you want to see a perspective from a Rams fan,
just put the camera on him. Hey, Dad, what's your thoughts on Matthew Stafford? And then edit that out.
Like, hey, Matthew, it's been reported Matthew Stafford's going to be missing the potentially first 4 weeks of the season. What's your thoughts?
I would need to be with him when that news breaks, and then that would be epic. But I won't be because I'll probably be at work.
Our next 1 million view video.
Rodney McGuire gets famous. Hilarious. Oh, man.
I mean, he knows Jimmy Garoppolo. He's seen him for years play in with the 49ers. Like, he knows that he was reliant on.
I can tell you he's not a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, that's a fact. I know that for sure. Even when the Rams brought him in, I can tell you that's a fact. If Jimmy Garoppolo has to start the year, I know he won't be happy. I don't know exactly to what extent he'll be worried, but I mean, he'll probably start doing what most fans do, be like, hey, he's got Puka, he's got Devontae, he's got weapons. He did it with the Niners. He can do, and we'll see. And Sean McVay, just like Shanahan's got a great mind, so we'll see if it works out. But man, I don't think Jimmy G's got it anymore. I don't even think Jimmy G, if he had to go and start for the Niners, could do anything, man. I think Jimmy G's just done. I think he's just done. I'm surprised he still has a job. I think we got a comment on that video from his hospital ball, and someone said, I didn't even know he was in the league anymore. Honestly, I didn't either, man. I didn't either.
Well, I followed Jimmy Garoppolo because of his good looks, so.
Of course you did.
Did you lose me?
Speaking of good looks, now we lost you. Now we can't see your pretty face, Mike.
I think we're good here. I appreciate you guys. You want to end this for us?
Subscribe to the NFL Clickbait Daily Podcast. We have a lot of shorts up. We got some long-form videos coming and more content on the way. I'm Chase. That's Mike. See you next time.